Good evening, professional colleagues. Good evening, friends of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Our students, it's our pleasure to welcome you on today's episode of ICAN on Air. This day, Tuesday, the 8th day of the month of November 2022. And it is my great pleasure to appreciate each and every one of us for always standing by to be part of this program every Tuesday and Thursday to increase our knowledge base with our seasoned facilitators, our seasoned presenters, and also topics that are very germane, contributing to our profession and outside our profession. And on this note, we have brought again another topical issue, just like we are not too long ago, some of the things that is about to unfold. And today we will be talking about adoption of sustainability reporting, laying foundation for seamless implementation. Sincerely speaking, all around is about sustainability. Remember, at the just concluded conference, it's a topical issue. At the upcoming the World Accountant Congress is another thing. So it's everywhere. And we need to have deep understanding of what the topic is all about. And to do justice, today is a friend of the house, someone who we have guest here, seasoned person, Dr. ICAN-ngr, FCA, who is a director of stroke head of Directorate, Public Sector Accounting Standard at the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria. He was the acting executive secretary and chief executive of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria from March 1st, 2020 to May 18, 2021. Dr. ICAN-ngr has over 30 years, that's 3 decades of industrial experience, much of which has been in financial reporting and management, accounting standard setting and financial reporting regulation, a member of the Interministerial Committee of the National Chart of Account for Nigeria, as well as member of the IPSA Gap Analysis Committee, a fellow of several industrial-related professional bodies, including our own Noble Institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Also, a fellow member of the Association of Forensic Accounting Researcher, AFA, a member Nigeria Institute of Management, to mention a few. A regular speaker at various fora, especially on financial reporting regulation and adoption of IFRS, IPSA, anti-money laundering, corporate governance, sustainability reporting, and other financial reporting topics. He is a first-class honor degree and MSc in accounting from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka and from University of Port Harcourt, and PhD in accounting from Babcock University, Ilesha in Ogun State. He has attended several contemporary continuous education programs from Harvard Business School in London, School of Economics, the Boats Business School, also University of Chicago, to mention just a few. Sincerely speaking, our guest speaker for today, Dr. ICAN-ngr, is a vast person, most especially on this topical issue that is not the main thing which he will definitely explain as we take over this day. Once again, it is my pleasure to welcome every one of us from the north to the east to the south to the west, all converged together this evening on ICAN on Air. Please stay tuned. Let me go on a very short commercial break. And when I'll be coming in, I will come in with a guest who will do justice to our topic. Stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Welcome back, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome this evening on ICAN on Air our own erudite speaker, Dr. ICAN-ngr, FCA. Good evening, my doc.
Yeah, good evening, my host, and good evening, distinguished professional colleagues. It's a pleasure to be on this program. You're welcome.
My doctor, I'm sure our guests, they've gathered all their pen, not just one single one, but several, because it's another time to take notes from the erudite. And we will be talking about adopting sustainability reporting, laying foundation for seamless implementation. Let me start like this, Dr. Ayara. Before now, it's all about financial reporting, taking the principal focus of corporate bodies and even government entity. But today, there is a global focus which has shifted to sustainability reporting. Our viewers who are globally connected, we want to share from your wealth of experience and knowledge on the subject line. In a simple term, what is sustainability reporting?
Thank you very much. Your opening statement revealed a lot when you said that focus has been on financial reporting. I wouldn't want to contest that. Actually, if you go down the history of accounting, you will agree with me that there was a time we were having corporate reporting. I'm thinking of the opinion that we're going back to those good old days. And in our reporting, really, we have what we call annual reports and financial statements. In the annual reports, you will agree also with me that it contains other reports rather than pure components of financial statements. And the issue then was for me, the narrow focus of financial reporting on the investors, or what we may call the providers of the fund. But even in the users of financial statements as we were taught in those good old days, you will see that a lot of other stakeholders are involved in expecting, trying to know exactly the operations of an entity. And these other users of financial statements, let me just pick one or two, includes the community, the host entity, the host of the entity, and of course the employees, the government, every other person is interested. And that is why there became an agitation that the focus of financial statements seems to be very narrow. Since it is not only the fund providers make use of this statement, why not let us have a report that will enhance or that will cover so many things about the stakeholders? And then straight to your question, that brought about sustainability reporting and simply means broadly disclosure of a company's environmental, social, and governance goals and communicating the company's progress and efforts to reach those goals. People expect entities to let us know what are you doing in the environment? How are you impacting the environment? And invariably, how is the environment impacting on you? So that leads to transparency in communication, at least letting the progress and efforts of your sustainable efforts to stakeholders communicate positive and negative impacts of the action on the environment, society, as well as the economy, and of course, accordingly set priority. In a nutshell, that's what sustainability reporting is all about. It's just total disclosure about three critical elements: ESG, the environment, the social, and governance. And if you permit me to go a little bit further, that's why the terminology triple bottom came about. Don't tell us about only profit. Tell us also about the planet you are working on and the people. So for me, let me stop here. I know you have a lot of more questions for me.
That's a very beautiful way to start the conversation this evening, exposing us to the meaning of sustainability reporting, broadly reporting ESG, environment, society, and government. Sir, within the context of sustainability reporting, we keep hearing of the term net zero, carbon neutrality. Our global viewers will want to know what these terms mean and what is the difference between zero and carbon neutrality.
Thank you so much. I think we are not diving into the technicalities of the sustainability issues. Um, Net zero really is a terminology that refers to the amount of greenhouse gases, the amount of emission, such as carbon dioxide, such as methane or sulfur dioxide, that are removed from the atmosphere, being equal to those emitted by human activity, equating the one being generated, amount of greenhouse gases, to the one being removed. So if they are equal, you are talking about net zero. Why carbon neutrality is similar to that of greenhouse gas emissions, how they set it. But it also generally includes a wider definition of certain residual emissions, including emissions avoidance activity. It's like a totality. And of course, wouldn't prescribe a specific reduction trajectory. The carbon neutrality also is very less prescriptive in respect of the reporting boundaries. Of course, with the inclusion of wider value chain, that's why you can trace to this emission being encouraged. So if you look at the two, I would say that net zero emission is a subset of carbon neutrality. Carbon neutrality is a wider concept that takes into cognizance totality of offsetting carbon, both residual, both, and there are a lot of activities involved in doing it. We'll talk about forest, planting of trees, and a lot of them, but it captures what are you doing to reduce the amount you're emitting, is it equal to the amount you are removing? If they are equal, you are talking about net zero.
That is a simple explanation. And I want to believe that our viewers who are connected from diaspora have cited people all the way from Abuja, Lagos, Edo, Gombe, Bauchi, coming on board, even Ibadan, or you're coming connected to have understanding of this sustainability reporting. And I want you to start, from the few explanations that we've gathered from our doctor this evening. Let's start bringing in our question so that we can have broader understanding of the topic. My doctor, there is something while you're giving your intro that sustainability reporting is not limited to financial function. Again, in fact, that is about environment, society, and governance. And we've discovered that every professional now talked about sustainability in their different fields. It has even been observed that some global organizations, multinationals, now have their CFO who are non-accountants signing their financial reports. Does it suggest that sustainability report are not financial report and can now be prepared by non-accountant? If yes, what does it pertain to accounting profession?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Um, Sustainability reporting, to be very frank, is not restricted to accounting profession. Remember, we are talking about impact of the company on the environment, on the society, and on government. So accountants alone cannot talk about this impact of an entity on this three or tripod stand. However, I think we accountants are luckier. And I have been at fora where other professionals are arguing against how the sustainability reporting is still till now. And why did I say we are luckier? Because at COP26, that last year, we are able to restore the framework for sustainability reporting from other professionals. When the IFRS Foundation was singled out by the global gathering to issue sustainability reporting standards. That automatically makes it a greater accounting function. And other professionals are not happy because from the experience of IFRS Foundation, the standards to be issued are mirrored after accounting standards. If you look at the exposure draft of IFRS S1, that is a disclosure, general disclosure requirement for sustainability, and IFRS, that's for climate change, you will see resemblance of IFRS in those standards. So we should strive to do all we can to firmly grab this upcoming development and not allow it to slip from our hands. I believe I'm talking to my professional colleagues. If we work with IFRS Foundation, especially the International Sustainability Standards Board, you will see that the standards issued by the IFRS Foundation, by extension, ISSB, will be championed by professional accountants. However, in doing corporate reporting, it is the responsibility of the accountant to request for information from other professionals to be able to do the reporting. It is not going to be like you asked at the beginning. It's not hinging purely on components of financial statement. is going beyond components of financial statement to report about what the entity is doing that affects the environment and the impact of the environment on the entity. This is the aspect we now talk about double materiality. And organizations are not seeing the other part. And that is also another criticism that with ISSB, it is only one-sided. It will be the financial impact of the organization on the environment and not the other side. So I wouldn't see anyway a non-accountant signing corporate reports. Well, what I envisage is a multiplicity in signet where you expect something like, because organizations are now creating chief sustainability officers, where you have chief financial officers, where you have this. So if your chief financial officer plays a significant role, he takes over the job, and the signature or the attestation to the report will be by that of the CFO. I wouldn't believe FROC would accept any financial statement signed by non-professional accountants.
That is why the regulator plays a key role, and we've been strategically positioned that any attempt for anyone to dive into our fields, our regulator protects that those things are there. So, for my fellow professional colleagues, we have been favored by the opportunity given to IFRS Foundation. Let's key into it and strategically position ourselves, even where you have the chief sustainability officer and the CFO is, like you said, is vast. It will definitely have the CSO possibly reporting to our CFO. I will still continue to be relevant. Let me continue with this, because while you were talking, you mentioned something about corporate social responsibility. And I want to say that we often hear, the fact of sustainability reporting center around this corporate social responsibility, which is expected to be clearly highlighted in an organization integrated reporting. Can we say that CSR and sustainability reporting is the same, or they have some differences?
My quick response would be absolutely no. They are not the same. If you look at, especially in our climate, in our jurisdiction, the corporate social responsibility, that CSR, for me is how do I put it without offense? It's more of advertisement and window dressing. What they tell you is we sunk 3 boreholes. We did that. We did that. They don't talk about how they are impacting on the environment, especially when it is negative impact. Let me give an example with the oil and gas sector, where a company is drilling oil and we have a lot of degradation, a lot of soil issues, and they will tell you in their report that they sunk 3 boreholes, or they built a secondary school for the host community. That is not sustainability reporting. And that is why we really have to understand the metrics and the targets has to be released by the ISSB, and especially what they put in the exposure draft. The sustainability report then goes beyond CSR. For me, I see CSR as a subset of sustainability reporting. You have to tell us about your emission level. How have you reduced your emission level? There are transitions to clean energy, for instance. What are you doing to that effect? For instance, we are talking about gas flaring. What strategy what efforts are you putting? What investment are you making to transit from um, to clean energy? These are some of the reports we expect to see in the sustainability report. Like I said in the definition, it's a disclosure of an entity's activity as they affect both environment, both social and governance. So it's not when you come and tell us photograph where you donated hospital or where you donated bags of rice, and you said it's. I am not saying they are not part. You can take it as part of social, but there are other legs to it. So that's why I personally see it as a subset, not sustainability report.
A subset of sustainability reporting, and both cannot be matched up to be one. Let me also still tell our viewers that I have been guesting Dr. ICAN IRA, FCA, who is a director, head of the public sector accounting standard with the Financial Reporting Council. I want you to bring in your question because this is something that is coming around us, and we need to have deeper understanding from what Doctor has actually been sharing with us. Doctor, the COP27 meeting is on the way in Egypt as we speak, and the cruise of the discussion is the danger in the lack of seriousness of the global community in issuing surrounding climate change. Sustainability reporting is one attempt to address the monster called climate change. In your own estimation, as a sustainability expert, how much has sustainability reporting contributed to solving the climate change menace that we are faced with currently?
Thank you very much. Your questions. I'm so happy about your questions because they're very current. Um, I have tried to put the television and CNN to be following the COP27 discussion. And unfortunately, the headship of FRC planned to be there to interact with the global community, especially the fund providers, so as to see how we could be positively affected by capacity building. So, coming direct to your question, sustainability reporting is not like a tick box issue. It's a deliberate attempt to communicate what an entity is doing. So, if you are firstly communicating what you are doing, the assurance report on it will reveal that what you are saying is wrong. And that is why, again, I call on my professional colleagues so that we will be up and doing in this area. If you leave the story, like we're talking about CSR, people can claim a lot of things. But a third-party assurance, a third-party report, an independent opinion will give credibility to the report. For instance, if you say that you have reduced your power usage from say 2,000 watts to 300 watts, there should be an independent verifier. And you can only do that in your report if you have done that action. Therefore, you are talking about greenhouse gas emissions, and we are saying you have achieved net zero, for instance. For you to report such, sir, you ought to have done it. And having done it, you have contributed to the climate change action. You will report what you have not done. And that's one, it brings about transparency. We are talking about it brings about credibility once it can be verified. So invariably, what cannot be measured cannot be reported. So that's why the standard is talking about metrics and targets. If you set a target, it becomes a strategic issue. It becomes a governance issue, and it becomes a KPI. For you now to report such in your corporate reporting, remember it's no more financial statements only. For you to report such in your corporate reporting, it means that you have deliberately taken those actions to affect positively the climate change. So I see sustainability reporting as a veritable tool towards achieving the goal of climate change. And that's why ISSB is giving all manner of attention, and not only ISSB, all United Nations organs are actually focusing on the sustainability, and even the UNCTAD ISA, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, have even developed indicators, what they call guidance core indicator (GCI), for you to use to report what you have done. So it's quite okay. I see it as helping achieving the goal of climate change action.
Sincerely speaking, that's the take up. You have to look at the metrics and the target. And once you do it and you report it, to be traceable because
Sure.
sustainability has come to reinforce transparency and credibility to some of the things we've been doing. Before I proceed, let me say, let our members keep flowing their question. Our guest for today, Dr. Ayara, is on point to do justice to it. And I have Fagbola Adini, my man from Ibadan. He's always there every Tuesday and every Thursday to make sure that I tap from it. And he's asking this question: how important is sustainability reporting to ecosystem functionality and dysfunctionality, to climate change chain reaction?
Thank you so much. I thought it was part of the question I have answered.
You just
Of
answered,
course,
yeah.
we are asking, yeah, it is actually at the center of the functionality of the climate change action. Like I did mention, there are targets, there are metrics. So for an organization like my host mentioned something I didn't want to talk more about, but let me bring it up here. It's an integrated action that you now have to report on. So it in part is centrally situated in the ecosystem of realizing the climate change. And that is why you and I, as professional accountants, should be at the center stage to ensure that even when our colleagues in the industry are reporting their action on the environment and social, we should be able to measure, attest that what they're saying is correct, and will also lead us to finding a significant uh, lasting solution to the issue of climate change. For instance,
Yeah.
let me give you an instance, sir. Um, if an entity is involved in deforestation and doesn't have a strategy to, like, say, if you cut one tree, plant two. So there should be implications. There should be tangible actions, which they will say they have planted 10,000 trees, for instance. Wouldn't you measure? Wouldn't you verify? So in reporting, in disclosing to the stakeholders what you have done, it brings about, it situates sustainability correctly in that line.
I'm sure $5 picked that up to say is at the center of it. And as financial professionals, we should be at the center stage also to promote this. Before I come to your question, Ogunleye, let me pick this up with Doctor. You see, at times we confuse ourselves when we hear sustainability reporting, integrated reporting, ESG. Our global viewers will like to know, does these three words I've just shared now, sustainability reporting, integrated reporting, ESG, if they are the same or they are different phenomena on their own?
Okay, thanks so much. A lot of things to clear and a lot of seemingly confusing issues.
Hmm.
Um, Sustainability, like I did mention, rests on tripod of ESG. People use some other terminologies. E, like we said, is environment, S is social, and G is governance. If you look at sustainable development goals, you will see that those 17 goals cover both environment, both social, and both governance. So ESG invariably report is sustainability reporting.
Hmm.
So what are you talking about? The disclosure is sustainability reporting. You are discussing, like I keep it, let it not look as if repetition. You are disclosing your actions on environment. That's the E. You are disclosing your actions on social. That's the S. And you are disclosing your actions on governance. That's
Government.
where SDG will be talking about reduction of poverty, gender diversity, and
Balance.
blah blah. They are grouped in social. These ones I've talked about are social. Then you talk about governance, corruption, and all the rest of index. You talk about environment, and that's where everybody is talking about climate change. So, however, integrated reporting goes beyond that. Integrated reporting, in a way, is for me is holistically talking
Hmm.
about the seven capitals, you know.
Hmm.
But if you look at them critically too, they are saying the same thing in different terms.
Hmm.
They are discussing it's like what we used to talk about describing an elephant by the six blind men. Anywhere
Hmm.
you touch,
You
you start
touch.
talking about it, especially when you have academics, you have researchers. Anybody would want you to speak from his or her own point of view, and at the end, we're zeroing down to the same issue. So
Converge. Hmm.
I would rather ask us to see them as saying the same thing, however, in different terminology.
Same thing but different terminology. I will want to consolidate this question. Ogunleye is asking if sustainability reinforce transparency. I think from the lecture I've heard, I can answer yes, because lecture doctor has done justice to that. But he wants to know: is there standard for organization to comply with? If yes, he wants to know the standard that relate to this sustainability reporting.
Thank you so much. Let me call the one I can easily call Samuel Ogunle.
Hmm.
Um, my host has assisted me. What area of focus PhD was actually sustainability reporting and quality of financial statements. If you look at qualitative characteristics of financial statements, you will see that what we are discussing about enhances transparency. When you talk about one of the fundamentals of qualitative characteristics, and that is faithful representation.
Hmm.
Faithful representation is the bedrock of transparency. You don't represent something wrongly and said you are transparent. No. So in that category, sir, sustainability reinforces transparency. Thank you, host, for helping me solving that. On the standard, we have several frameworks. Let me use that word. We have the GRI, Global Reporting Initiative, that seems to be more used by. We also have the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board of US, the statements they have.
Doctor, are you there? Doctor, are you there?
Hello?
Waste. Okay.
Hello, it's like I lost you some seconds. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can flow on now, sir. There seems to be a little
Okay,
technical
thanks so
glitch.
much. Yeah, I don't know where it came. So the beauty about it is what that came out of COP26, and that is having one organization to set a single set, high quality global sustainability standard. And that is what International Sustainability Standard Board have been trying to do. And they are doing very well. They have tried to fuse some of these frameworks into what they are coming out with. In fact, we have seen mergers, and we have the value foundation, value reporting foundation now, merging and all of them. For me, in the nearest future, in a no distant future, we are going to have, I believe seriously, we are going to have a single set of sustainability reporting standard, and all of us will use that. I think that Samuel
Yeah,
Ogunleye, I
that
think
that
that's
that 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 that, that actually done justice to the question from Ogunleye. My doctor talking to doctor, I have Dr. Abel as saying, and he's just taking this question off my bar because that's the area where I am actually growing to. When you see a doctor appreciating a doctor, then you give it a second thought that some of us that are still learning, we need to learn more. It's asking, what is FRCN, that is Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, doing to make sustainability reporting mandatory for all listed entities? And that I can consolidate with this question that I was about to ask from my side, that what exactly is the FRC doing in making the adoption and implementation of sustainability reporting seamless? So it's question to FRC, but having two swords for you to attack from.
Thank you, my host. I sincerely appreciate my big boss, my good friend, Dr. Ashen. Uh, Let me joke a little. Humor is part of my life. He was my running mate when we did our PhD. He ran after me. Okay, thanks so much. FRC, not because I'm here. I'm going to make a statement of fact, and I want to appreciate the Executive Secretary, Chief Executive Officer, Ambassador Shaibu Adamu Ahmed. He has been passionate about FRC doing something tangible and urgently in the area of sustainability reporting. We have followed up all the activities of ISSB from the consultation paper to the exposure drafts. We have held webinars to this effect. And he has made firm commitment. In fact, that is one of the painful things, that he is unable to be in Egypt tomorrow where he is to speak at COP27, where he is expected to make a pronouncement in this regard. And what he intends doing, of course, is in line with the statutory responsibility and is part of our act that empowers us to adopt standards issued by IFAC and International Financial Reporting Standard Foundation. And ISSB being a subset of IFRS Foundation, their standard means that we automatically adopt. So FRC is going to be an early adopter. Ambassador, I know you may be here, permit me to do this. However, we are putting in place roadmaps, strategic actions to carry everybody along. We are going to have a regulatory forum. We don't want it to look FRC issue alone because sustainability affects the whole gamut, the whole ecosystem. We have Minister of Environment here that will be talking about the issue of climate change. Remember, we have the Office of Senior Special Assistant to President on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, which sustainability will also, reporting will also capture. So we plan like we did in the adoption of IFRS to bring together all these regulators, including the exchange, to have a methodology, to have an action plan, and especially enlightenment training to ensure that we get it right at the very beginning and always. I think in a matter of weeks or so, the Nigerian jurisdiction will be awash with what FRC is doing to ensure that we do not only implement, that we do it seamlessly, like the theme of our discussion, and also attract capacity building funding by donor agencies to ensure that we're on the right track. Doc, thank you, and host, thank you for that wonderful question.
One thing I can say for a fact is that our own Ambassador Shuaib, yourself and the great team of FRC are always up there to make sure that we have a top-notch knowledge, equipping our members and other professionals so that we are. You are a good ambassador representing the institute in a great might. We give kudos to the leadership of FRC. Let's continue in that big might so that the institute itself will continue to have that great recognition that great ambassadors are always there for them. As we will continue, Doc, let me ask this question by saying, I know you are very vast. The first time I had contact with you was during the implementation of IFRS. That was when I was joining that powerful district, when you came to dissect it. So I know your knowledge about IFRS. IFSA, you are just top notch on it. And now you are dealing with sustainability issue. We want to ask, what is IFRS sustainability reporting? And are there IFRS sustainability disclosure standard so that our members can benefit from them?
Thank you so much, my host, and those kind words. I'm not too sure I qualify for them. I'm only learning, like all of us. Like I did explain, for now, there is no single set of global standard for sustainability reporting. What we had, which ended sometime in July or September, I'm not too sure now, was an exposure draft of IFRS S1, which dealt with general disclosure requirements for sustainability reporting. and IFRS S2, disclosure requirements for climate change. So the ISSB is still working on issuing those standards. And the argument we're making is though they started the sustainability standard with climate change, that those of us from the emerging economies have more pressing issues also than the climate change, even though climate change is affecting all jurisdictions, both in scales and in level of severity. However, we have other legs of the ESG or
There
sustainability
seems
report.
to be a technical glitch. I don't know whether it's from my side here or from Doc. Okay, Doc, you are back.
I've been back. I could hear you that time. I don't
We
know,
understand that there are always technical glitches like this at times
but
when the
no problem.
program
So
is going up. But to all our guests who are connected globally from the north, from the south, east, west, I've been guesting Dr. Hianyi Hayara FCA, who have been doing justice to sustainability reporting, the things that we need to know. Doctor, as we wind up the curtain of today's show, which has been a very interesting one. Can you tell us if you have already seen or projected or you've perceived any challenges associated with sustainability reporting?
yeah, of course, every new thing, everything has challenges depending on how it is handled.
Mm.
For me, it is a transition, and the major challenge is the capacity to undertake the transition. We require the technical capacity to undertake the transition. It's not going to be the normal reporting we used to know. It's bringing a whole gamut of um, measurements, metrics, and targets, which require new knowledge and new understanding. So capacity building is one major issue I think will confront all of us. The second, or even the first, I would have considered is our mindset. Anytime there is a new thing, there is always the mindset of either resistance or thinking that it is unsurmountable or so. But if you have a mindset that we can, like the mindset of ICAN, that I can do it. If we go with that mindset, I think we wouldn't have any issue. Of course, that mindset goes with the earlier one I said, that developing skill
Capacity
set.
building. Hmm.
We need to develop the skill set to be able to. And finally, sir, we can't rule out the challenge of finance because the reporting requires data, and the kind of data is not data you just pick from anywhere.
Hmm.
Some of them are highly technical. Some of them require technology to get. You are talking about emission, for instance. It is calculated,
Hmm.
and it's not calculated just by using what you are writing. So that's one measure, and that is why the African community is asking these developed countries that they see as the people who have been destroying the economy by their emission, by their industrialized mechanization, and they should be able to fund the transition and assist us in doing that. So for me, these are some of the challenges, of course, which we have passed through, and I know with determination we'll be able to conquer.
Oh, definitely. Even from the first one we said, if you have the positive mind, just like us in I can do it. Definitely, you see yourself submitting it, having capacity building. The right skill set is very fundamental. And definitely, once we have those ones, we'll attract enough funding. In closing, Doctor, it's been a very wonderful time. But I will not let you go until I pass this question before I wind up for today. And it is that ICANN is always open to ideas which will positively advance the growth of our members, accounting profession, and Nigerian business environment. What would be your general advice or suggestion for our institute, our members, regarding the adoption of sustainability reporting and the laying of foundation for seamless implementation in Nigeria? Just in 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. From the challenges, I think we can pick them out. I can honestly, not because I'm on this platform, I've been doing well in this area.
Hmm.
Like you mentioned, the general theme of the annual accountant conference this year centered on sustainability. And I know I have been uh, lucky to facilitate in one of the NCPD on sustainability reporting. For me, they're already proactive. However, it's a field that requires a lot more to be done. So my advice is for them to suspend their tempo and even at a higher level to ensure that sustainability is carried and extended, escalated to all manner of professionals so that who would be retrained to acquire the necessary skills and be on top of it, so that finally when the standards are issued, we would have already been ready to adopt. Thank
Hmm.
you. I think that's what I would say.
Very great evening with Dr. ICAN-ngr, FCA, on this day, Tuesday, the 8th day of the month of November. It's been a very interactive session. I can tell you that the Institute is well equipped. As you know, that our Vice President, Dr. Innocent Okwasa, also is part of the people that drive sustainability reporting. And that's part of the edge which the Institute is enjoying with its team. We sincerely want to appreciate you for spending your evening with us on ICAN on Air today, the 8th day of the month of November. And sincerely speaking, you've equipped us the more, preparing us for the adoption of this sustainability reporting. And I can know our members are fully prepared to make sure that they blast on the very fast lane. On this note, before I round up, I quickly want to intimate us with some of the information from our institute. And let me start by saying that the World Congress of Accountants is holding in Mumbai, India, come November 18th to 21st. Like I keep saying, it's not too late for you to register because there we'll be talking more also on sustainability. And it will be a great thing to see you at the World Accountant Congress. And a lot of programs are being scheduled even by the Institute. The fellowship conferment, the portal has been opened. And I know in no distance time, we'll be having induction of our new members into the Institute. These are a lot of programs that have been put together by our Institute, and we want our members to key into it. Also, try as much as possible to be part of the MCPD as we wind up the year to increase your knowledge and make sure you get the stipulated MCPD credit hours that is expected of you. On this note, I'm winding up the program for today, Tuesday, the 8th day of the month of November. And I remain your host, Olusesan Okwade, FCA. See you again on Thursday as I bring you another educative session with another scintillating and powerful guest. Till then, Stay safe.